Hello my friend, in this video I want to share the 3 stages of the psychedelic integration journey that I have observed in my 9 to 10 years of psychedelic integration and that I've observed with many clients of mine. So there's 3 parts to this, which I call unaware, the stage of being unaware, the stage of being aware but struggling, and the transcendent stage. And I want to go into all of them. So, back when I discovered psychedelics, integration wasn't really a term that I was familiar with. It was just like this exciting things, the psychedelics. And so when I was 16, I was jumping into them and I was having my experiences. But my life didn't seem to change because I was unaware of the concept of integration. I didn't even really know what integration is, what it really means. That's an interesting question, by the way, which we're going to discuss in another video. And so my life didn't seem to change. I had these crazy peaks, these transcendent experiences, these awakening experiences, satoris, but somehow my day-to-day perception didn't really change. My relationships didn't change. My job didn't change. It's like the habits, the old habits were keeping me stuck a little bit. And that's what I call the unaware stage of psychedelic integration. You're aware of psychedelic work. Maybe you're doing them for fun or you're just having your first couple experiences. But you're unaware that you can actually take the insight and transform your life with that insight. Turn the visions into real transformation, right? And embody some of that wisdom that you've glimpsed and actualize some of that potential that you've glimpsed in psychedelic space. And so with being unaware, I found in this stage, it's not that I was struggling, but I was kind of like somehow aware that my life wasn't changing. And that was nagging on me because the awareness about my state of being and how I show up in the world and how I could show up in the world, what I could be, was increasing. That awareness was increasing. But I wasn't aware on how to do it. I didn't know what kind of practices I could do or how I can actually change my life based on these experiences. And then over the years, after a couple of years, I was getting more and more interested and curious in psychedelic space. I was learning more, I was reading more, and inevitably I became aware of the term psychedelic integration, psychedelic preparation, set and setting. Some of these common terms that set a container for the psychedelic experience so we can actually derive some juice out of this beautiful potentially life-changing experience. So with the concepts of set and setting, preparation and integration, I transitioned into what I would call the aware phase. This is where many of my clients are in. You are doing the psychedelic work, what I call psychedelic actualization, utilizing psychedelic experiences for self-actualization and self-realization. And you're aware that there is something that you can integrate. That there's a wisdom there, that there is, deep realization and potential for embodiment. And this is the stage that you're aware of psychedelic integration. But what I have found in my journey and with many clients is that there is a sense of struggle. Because then it's about trying to integrate the experience. And it's like, wow, I've had this crazy insight about communicating with my parents, right? I need to forgive them. I need to go and talk to them. But then it doesn't happen. I really need to learn about this vision of Shiva that I had. So I need to buy all the Upanishads and go and read Hindu scriptures and learn more about that stuff. And then maybe you're not doing it. And maybe afterwards, there's just a little bit that you could kind of integrate, but you're almost overwhelmed by the amount of insights, things to do. I gotta meditate an hour, I gotta journal about all my stuff. Every time I gotta have a week-long dietary preparation. I gotta change my entire diet, I gotta leave my job, I gotta find a better relationship because that means integration. And this unfoldment and actualization of our highest potential could seem so daunting on us. And the to-do list just is growing and growing and growing. And so we're struggling to integrate our experiences. And with that comes a mindset that could develop that is leading us to a dark place. Because we're beating ourselves up. We're like, why can't I integrate this? Going to psychedelic journey again. Still not able to integrate this. Years are passing. Oh man, still this one insight from like 5 years ago, from this potentially life-changing experience, I still haven't integrated it. Man, and then we're beating ourselves up for not being able to integrate the fullness of what we have experienced. Because we are aware that there is a potential to do that. So, in that sense, in the stage of being aware of psychedelic integration, the second stage, there is a sense of obligation to integrate our experiences, to embody our insight and our realization to a greater extent. Maybe even to such an extent that we are currently not capable of. And that can lead to a very toxic mindset around psychedelic integration. And that's okay, totally okay to be in this state. It's a wonderful stage to be in. And most people are in this stage. And when I progressed on the journey of psychedelic integration, I was contemplating, what does integration even mean? Right? What is it? You know, and how to do it? Like what it's such an intangible kind of thing. And why am I not feeling good, beating myself up for not being able to integrate 100%? I discovered what I would call now the Transcendent stage of psychedelic integration. And the Transcendent stage, it leaves the struggle behind. It leaves the need to integrate the psychedelic experience behind. Which doesn't mean that you're not integrating the experience that you've had. So one example for myself is in lots of Changa experiences with NN-DMT, and also certain other experiences with ayahuasca, my recent ayahuasca ceremony, for example, or some 5-MeO-DMT experiences even. There is the psychedelic experience in and of itself. But the psychedelic experience kind of like merges with the dance of life. So there's not much to do after the psychedelic experience. If there was a particular insight, I maybe take the most crucial one and I try to follow up on that. But there's no need to integrate this. This is kind of like the internal transcendence. And with a lot of Changa experiences, as I've said, I kind of like feel that they are integrating themselves. There's not much I need to do in order to integrate the experience. Because there's almost like the transcendence of the need for psychedelic integration. And so the movement towards wholeness, integration has a lot to do with wholeness, right? Piecing together certain parts into one whole, is happening automatically by me being in a relaxed state, following my excitement, and trusting the unfoldment of life and the unfoldment of my journey, of my potential, right? That everything is happening in its own time. The unfoldment of the potential, I can't push it, I can't rush it. Every time I try to, I feel bad. and it is about feeling this sense of alignment with your own unique pace of unfoldment. And it touches on what I call the dance of detached appreciation in this, what I call the psychedelic actualization framework. The space of the dance of detached appreciation is holding our journey of integration. It is holding everything. And it means that we're not attaching to any appearance or experience of life whatsoever, but we're appreciating them fully. We're dancing with life. We're dancing with our own life. And what I've realized is that our life is the integration. There is no single piece of integration that we can do. Because everything in our life, our physical body, our mental mindscape, our emotional body, our relationships, our environment, everything is part of our integration. And so this transcendent stage taps into that wholeness, is seeing that wholeness, sees the bigger picture of the human life, and is integrating the experience with a sense of ease, and with a sense of joy, with a sense of detachment, not needing to read and meditate and eat healthy and do this and do that and beat ourselves up for it. And then the psychedelic integration becomes just a dance of joy, a process of surrender. And that's kind of like the stage that I'm aiming for, right? Really tapping into this transcendent dance. And all stages are beautiful, and all stages are absolutely unique. And I enjoy being in all of them. The Unaware stage was a great time back then. Just like discovering psychedelics, not even knowing what psychedelic integration is. The struggling stage helped me to really get my life in order. There was a great value in the aware stage of psychedelic integration, where I was trying to build a meditation habit, trying to build a reading habit, journaling. And I did all of these things, and this has progressed me and helped me to still continue on doing these habits with ease right now. So there's value in that stage of struggling, of trying to integrate. And then there's the beauty of the transcendence and the beauty of moving beyond it all and seeing it as this dance towards wholeness. And maybe there's a fourth stage, let me know. Maybe there's one that is still upcoming on my journey of integration, or a different flavor that you have experienced. I would love to know. If you're curious about support on your journey of psychedelic integration, there's a link in the video description. I do offer coaching, but spots are limited. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one. Much love.